Walking around Lancefeild, and there is a classic W-model Kenworth. A lot of you would have seen this on Facebook and various other places. It's been sitting at Move Museum in Shepparton for quite some time, which is where I first saw it. And I'm lucky enough to have come across the owner, one Gerard Hicks. Gerard, how are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you,
Thanks
Kermie?
for talking to Truckin with Kermie.
Very good.
Really appreciate it. Mate, let's start off with you. What's your background?
Well, the
you a trucker or?
Journey's been transport since the early 70s.
Yep.
Worked my way up, drove for companies. Bought the old Benz over there, 79.
Oh, we'll have a look at that in a tick, yeah.
Worked, had a cab over, a couple of cab overs after that. We purchased this when you were at Shep in 86. Worked it till late 92.
So it's one of Graham Thompson's
Bought it off Graham.
sales, is it?
Bought it off Graham, yeah.
Just walk this way a bit, mate, so I can get the truck into the background a bit
It's
more.
all good. Yeah,
Yep.
bought it off Graham new.
Yep.
Stayed in Shepparton until 96, and then we moved to Melbourne and set up down there in a bigger way. Done that until, done a lot of interstate, local interstate. We sold out in 18 to Land Transport. I scaled back and kept this, kept the 909 and the old Benz. We're not doing too much at the moment, a little bit of local. Go for a trip when we feel like it. Yeah, I think we've done what we had to do.
Bring it out to shows like this for the public to admire it.
The W model was in the museum. I took it out last October and we done a little bit of work on it.
Yeah, that's where I first saw it.
yeah.
And I mean, there are some nice trucks in that museum, but I've got to say, this particular one stood out like the proverbials, mate.
Even here, Kermie, you have a look around here, there's some beautiful gear.
There are indeed, but she pops.
It's a credit to them.
Yeah. Now, did someone tell me, and I don't know if they were talking, Peter Hill might have said it.
Peter,
is that a Toyota colour?
No, Nissan.
It's a Nissan colour. Well, I was close, it was Japanese.
You're nearly there. When I was in Shep doing the Pirelli cable, I come through Shep one day, and nice sunny day. A new Nissan was out the front, and I thought, nice colour. I think what I liked, it sort of had a bit of an orangey tang in it.
Yeah. Yes, it has. Yeah.
Yeah, it ticked the boxes. So I took the colour, went in there and got the colour. Took it to Thompson's, Lockie Grant sold me the truck.
Yep.
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward. Come up, and we put the gold. I went to Kandari Brothers, Joe and Mimmer in Shep. They dressed it up and done the gold and a few touch-ups. Went to Sydney and put the Keith bar on it. A few other little knickknacks at the time. No, look, it was great. It was a good truck.
It's a good choice of colours because that gold and that pinstriping just above it
sets it off.
Yeah, and it brings out that orange and the red.
Yeah, it does.
You're talking about it makes it quite unique.
When you're sitting in them 6 days a week, you wanted to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Look, I could honestly say, and all the time we had it, I had a couple of drivers work with me. Not once did you hop in and leave home and not enjoy it. So it was a good journey.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you've had it down with the young Aaron Vandershoot.
Had a demo of Aaron, yeah.
Yeah, what's he been doing to it?
Aaron done a couple little jobs that I always wanted to do. We put a new set of front springs in it. One of his mates got the polisher out and give it a touch up. Aaron took their Mac, got Paul Coots' superliner.
I saw that, yes.
We went out to Truckin last weekend.
Yep.
It was a nice little show. So I felt I owed Aaron something to go out and enjoy the day. So no, look, that is it's hard finding guys now that are passionate enough to do what you want done to them.
Yeah.
And do it right.
Yeah.
So Jeff Coots put me on to Paul and put me on to Aaron, and said this man will help you out. So no, it was good. I'm glad I actually had a little.
So Aaron, if you're watching this, mate, quit while you're ahead, before people start saying bad things about you, son.
No, it's all good.
He's good people.
Yeah.
He's good people. I remember a Mackie did up years ago when I first met him, and
the superliner.
Yeah. And that was.
Well, that's what he took out to Truckin.
Oh, okay.
So I pulled it out of the museum in October just to do a little bit of work to it.
Yep.
And replaced it with the 909, which is still up at Move. this will go back in probably next week.
Okay.
We'll leave it there for another couple of months.
Right.
They got the GT Nationals are on, I think, middle of March.
Yes. Yeah.
Pretty well everything's got to come out of the museum, and then it'll go back in after that.
Okay.
I like to pull it out. You know, we got the Hall and the Hume. That's in April.
Are you going on that?
Yeah.
I'll make sure to get some footage of you on the road, Gerard.
We like to get around a few of them events.
Mate, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah. So
what's the motive power of it?
Mate, it's got a cat motor in it from new. I think that's why, just hopping off, that's why I went over to Perth and bought it back. Was over there for 20 years. Company in Kyabram bought it. They went by the wayside, and before I knew it, the truck was in Perth.
Yep.
It was over there for over 20 years.
Right.
I got message that it was for sale.
Yep.
So I went over and had a look. I said to the guys at the time, I'm not sure if I want it back. I knew it was quite knocked around.
Yes, yeah.
So we went over, and she still had the original motor in it. The Keith bar, which is a little bit iconic, and the Bud wheels, which were a little bit rare in them days. So there was enough there to work with. If it hadn't have been original, you know, to that, especially with the motor and that, I'd have probably left it there.
So I'm not sure if I asked you this earlier or not, but how long has it been in your possession?
I bought it back, what are we now, 25? I would have bought it back in about 2014.
Right.
Yeah, we done nothing with it for 12 or 18 months. Closses at Geelong took charge of it, and that's where it all started. Went back to the chassis, and it was a complete rebuild. But I had to source the sleeper. My original sleeper had gone missing in Perth, and I wanted the high-rise Aerodyne box. Picked that up off a guy in Brisbane. It's 99% the way it was when I bought it.
Right.
So, and that was the whole idea of it.
While we're talking,
if I wanted to restore it,
keep talking. We'll wander across to have a look at the 1418.
I wanted it back, pretty much the same as what I had it from new.
Yep.
I like to, you know, you like to put a few little extras on it, but I didn't want to bling it too much. So what we're walking to here is what paid the way to buy it.
Is that right? So you've owned this for...
79 I bought this.
Okay.
And
they were the king of the road there in their day, weren't they, the 1418s?
They were a good money maker. But again, I only had it for... I sold it to a farmer at Shepparton in 83.
Yeah.
And same old story, he had it for over 20 years. When the time was right, he sold it back to me. I think because I had it was my first truck.
Yeah.
That if I was going to get one back and do it up, this is what I wanted.
Right.
So, you know, naturally nothing means a little bit more to you. So it was probably a 3 or 4 year resto job. Where this one, the prime mover was finished in 2015. We took it Alice Springs. That was it. That was its first outing.
Yep, yep.
The trailer, I've only had it back 4 years. We give it a complete rebuild. Bobby Rankin at Lockington out of Echuca.
Yep.
Bobby done the trailer for me.
So you're keeping your work, apart from young Aaron, of course, pretty local, aren't you?
Yeah. There's good blokes out there.
Yeah.
That can do the job.
It's a nice trailer.
It is. It's not the original trailer I had when I bought the Benz, but it's that close to it that it don't matter. So it's but again, look, there's some good blokes out there still that can you know, do the job for you.
Yes, yeah.
So we're totally happy with the end result. All takes time and money.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure it does. Mind you,
this one
it does go to show that there must be enough money in trucking to feed your family.
Right?
Buy a car from run around in, school them, and
waste a bit of money on
waste a bit of money on them as well. Well said,
look,
Gerard.
When I think honestly, when I even before I bought my first truck, I always wanted to at least have some of my own work. be a prime contractor with somebody.
Yeah.
I was pretty lucky with this. I only had it 6 months, and I fell into a company in Sydney called Pirelli Cable, and I was with them for over 15 years. So that gave me my bread and butter for all that time.
Yes. Yeah.
And set me up for the rest of the journey.
Phantom 309.
Phantom, yeah.
So
actually,
what does that allude?
Well, there was an artist out called Red Savine, and it was probably one of the first tapes that I bought, and that was on it, and Teddy Bear and the deck of cards. So yeah, I just come back as a bit of a memory, and why not? You got to give it a title.
Yeah. So you still
driving?
running a business, Gerard?
We still got the company.
Yep.
Pardon me. We do an odd trip now and again with. I've still got a fridge van and a low loader. Yeah, I guess we'll just do a trip when we feel like it.
Yeah. Well, it's nice that
I don't
you
think
can
want
be
to go out and.
Nice you can be in that position
Well,
to
it
do
is,
that.
yeah.
And, hey, you work hard for it.
Well, we did.
You got to enjoy the fruits of your labours, don't you?
I think the good thing is, and there's a lot of guys you'll talk to, like you put 30 or 40 years into something, I think you should get something back out of it to enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Sadly, there's ones that go through, and I've seen it in this industry, that have spent a lot of time and haven't got much to show for it.
Yeah, it can be a hard business for some.
Yeah, it is, and but I think as I said, you got to work with the right people, your money. There's too many out there today, and I even struck it over the years that, they'll either slow payers or they don't want to pay you at all.
Yeah, that's an ongoing problem.
But and not much has changed, but it's still a good business if you want to be in it. I think what got me into it, we come off a dairy farm, and I didn't want to wake up each morning and look at the same gum trees and cows every day. I wanted to travel around the country, so we done plenty of that. I drove for 3 or 4 different companies in the early 70s until I bought this.
Okay. Who did you start with?
One of the earliest, there was a guy in Sydney, just had one truck. I was doing roller doors. There's a company in Shep, JD Morey. I was with them. Tony Mason in Shepparton. John Bogdan. Boggo only had a couple of trucks back then. I was actually driving a new Kenworth for Boggo when I bought this. Okay. Didn't take me long to realise that I could make more money in this than driving for a company.
Age, yeah.
No disrespect to who you're with, but hey, it's the next step. So yeah, I don't regret it for 1 minute. $9 grand I paid for that when I bought it.
Wow. Okay.
And I went home.
Mind you, in today's currency, that's
I went home bobtail from Campbellfield when I bought it, wondering how I was going to pay it back. The payments were $400.
Yeah.
I
so what was a house worth at that time?
Oh, I had a house in Shep. I paid 17 grand for that.
There
that was in 71, 72.
You paid half of that for a truck.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, which was a lot of money.
Indeed.
But like I said, I only had it about 6 months, and I got into the cable company in Sydney, and that was the difference. I can honestly say in 15 months, at the end of each month, my cheque was sitting at the weighbridge waiting for me. I thought it don't get any easier than that.
No, it does not.
I just had to do
Consider yourself one of the lucky ones.
Definitely, yeah. So no, we've had a good little journey.
Yeah, and now
we're in Melbourne now, Whittlesea.
Yep.
Still got a depot in Somerton.
Gerard, you're keeping the history alive, and you're bringing it out to shows, both of these trucks for the public to enjoy and the public to appreciate what driving a truck was in times gone by. It's a little bit different these days.
Actually,
on behalf of the industry, I thank you.
No, great.
They're just a pleasure to look at. Keep on trucking, mate.
I drove this out this morning just quickly from Somerton. I think all that comes back while you're driving it after hopping out of the W-model.
Yes, yeah.
No, it's great. It's been good to talk to you, Ken.
And you, Gerard. Take care, mate.
Not a problem.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.